Hey honeys, it's your girl Golden Jaylene and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a, wow, you can see myself in the mirror. But today's video is going to be a three looks using two palettes. I reviewed the Dream St and Zodiac palette in my last video and I promised I'd have a 3 looks using both of these palettes. I did a natural look, a more smoky look, and a bright look. I'm in a different room. I'm back in school and this is where I will be for like the next year. 2 of these looks I did film back at home, so for those 2 looks you will see that I am at home. But enough rambling. If you'd like to see how I did 3 looks using both of these eyeshadow palettes, just keep on watching. The first look is this beautiful blue monochromatic look, and the first thing I did was go in with some of my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer, and I set that with some powder, but I regretted it because the next thing I did was go in with the shade The Aquarius, and I put that in my crease, but this shade took forever to build up in the crease. I think it would have helped if I didn't set the concealer. It is doable, but it took many layers and a lot of packing on. It works better if you pat the color in rather than blending. So what I did was I blended the edges with the Libra, because if not, all of the color would have just blended off of my lid. And I went back and forth with both of these shades. I'm going back in with the Aquarius, and I'm just going to build that up and blend it with Libra until I get my desired pigmentation. Now I'm going to cut my crease with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer, and I'm doing a half cut crease, well, not more of a 2/3 cut crease. I didn't actually extend it all the way out. Next I take the Aquarius again and I use that on the outer corners of the lid. I apply the Pisces on the center of the lid. This is a beautiful like pool blue shade. The only issue is that it's pretty chunky, so that's why I used my finger at the end there. Next I go into the Dream St palette and I use the shade Kaleidoscope, and I use it in my inner third of my eye and my inner corner. Now I take the Sagittarius and I also use that on my outer corner just to deepen it up. Next I go back into Kaleidoscope and I use it for my brow bone highlights. Next I take my Maybelline Master Precise liquid eyeliner and I just use this to create my wing. After that, I just took the tape off and I went in with my Marc Jacobs gel highliner crayon in the shade Blacker, and I used that to tightline, and I also used it in my waterline. Next I went back into the shade Kaleidoscope and I just applied this to the inner third of my lower lash line. Next I went in with the Pisces and I applied it to the center of my lower lash line. And finally I used the Aquarius on the outer part of my lower lash line. Lastly, I applied mascara off camera, and that is the first look. I'm going to start off with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Brightener. And like usual, just apply it all over my lid. Alright, now that that is set, I'm going to go into the Dream St palette first. And I'm going to take the shade Magical. And I'm going to apply this all over my crease. Next, I'm taking the shade Spark, and I'm putting this a little bit lower than where I put Magical. Now, directly in my crease, I'm going to apply Potion, and I'm actually going to go back and forth with these 3 shades until I have my desired pigmentation. So now I'm going to go back in with that Maybelline concealer and I'm going to cut my crease. I know, another cut crease, but I'm just loving cut creases lately. I think they're so pretty. I'm going to take Spark and Potion and define this crease a little bit more. I know that looks super messy, but I promise it looks really pretty in the end. Now I'm just going to take a little bit more of Magical and blend some of this out. So now I'm going to take the Super Shock Shadow. I'm going to use the shade Midnight. I'm going to use this as a base, and I'm going to apply this on the inner and outer corners of my eye. Now I'm going to go into the Zodiac palette, and I'm going to take this shade right here called the Capricorn, and I'm going to pat this on the inner and outer corners of the eye. Look at all that glitter. I love it. I'm going to go in with the same shade, but this time I'm going to use some MAC Fix Plus because I want a little bit more of that glitter. I'm going to take just a tad bit of concealer to clean up the center of my lid a little bit. So now I'm going to take the shade the Aries, and I'm going to apply this to the center of my lid. First I'm applying it dry, and now I'm just going to wet it a little bit. Now just to make the orange and black fade into each other a little bit more gracefully, I'm going to take the shade the Scorpio, and I'm not going to take too much of the shade, just a little bit, and I'm just going to apply it on top of the edges of where the orange and the black meet. And last but not least, for the crease, I'm going to take a little bit more of Magical and just use this to blend everything out. For my inner corners, I'm going to be using the Leo. This is another orange, and it's a lot lighter. There's a lot more gold to it, but it's beautiful. For my brow bone, I'm going to be using the Gemini. This is a gorgeous true gold. Next, I'm going to be putting on some of my Maybelline Master Precise liquid eyeliner. Now I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs gel eyeliner crayon. And this is in the shade Blacker, and I'm just tightlining a little bit. I'm wearing contacts, so it's kind of difficult for me to tightline. And I'm going to be applying this to my waterline. I'm going to be going into the shade the Virgo just to blend out that black liner. And I'm applying this on the lower lash line. Now I'm taking Spark again from the Dream St palette, and I'm applying this to the lower lash line as well, and I'm really smoking this color out. And finally, I'm going to take a little bit of that inner corner highlight shade again called the Leo and just apply it right here. The mascara I'm using is just a sample size of the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara. Alright guys, this is the finish. I love how glam and glittery it is. I used to really hate glitter, but I'm starting to slightly be into it, and yeah, I just really love this look. Alright, so the first color I'm going to go in with is the Taurus from the Zodiac palette. And I'm going to apply this in my crease. Now that I've built that color up, I'm going to use the shade the Libra. And I just want to use this to lighten it up and make it just a tad bit pinky. Next I'm going to take the Sagittarius, and I'm going to apply this to the other corner. I'm going back into the Taurus, and I'm just blending that all over my lid. In the Dream St palette, I'm going to take the shade Sweet Dreams, and I'm applying this to the center of my lids. Next I'm going to take the Gemini from the Zodiac palette, and I'm going to apply this to the inner third of my lid. These work better with your finger, by the way. Okay, so just so the gold and the purple can blend in a little bit better, I'm going to take the Scorpio, and I'm going to apply this right where the two shades meet. I'm going to apply a little bit more of the Sagittarius. For my inner corner and brow bone highlight, I'm going to be using Moony from the Dream St palette. For my lower lash line, I'm going to be mixing Spark from the Dream St palette and the shade Sagittarius from the Zodiac palette. Okay, and finally, I'm just going to be applying a little bit of mascara. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I think it looks super beautiful. I love how natural yet colorful it is. Also, I apologize about the lighting. I'm using natural lighting, but the sun is coming in and out. But yeah, this is the final look. Okay guys, that was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing 3 looks using both of these palettes. I think these palettes work great together, and if you haven't seen my review, I will link that up in the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay golden!